Hello, welcome back to the Prime Focus Goalkeeping channel and our Goalkeeper Technique Analysis series. In this episode, we're going to go over crossing. This video features a lot of great analysis with positioning, reading the game, and more. Let's jump into it.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Prime Focus Goalkeeping YouTube channel. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about crossing. We've got a number of questions on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook about how to deal with crossing, what the technique looks like, what the footwork looks like, what positioning looks like. So today, we're going to address all of it. All right, so first off, we're going to talk about technique. All right, so taking a ball from the left side. All right, I've had a number of different coaches from the MLS level, USL level, youth level, tell goalkeepers a number of different things in terms of how to get set up, right? Some goalkeeper coaches prefer you be square onto the ball, right? Facing the ball so you can attack it immediately. Some goalkeeper coaches prefer you be more opened up so you can see the field. For me, I prefer to be a little bit more half on. I can see the ball, I can see the field. I can check my shoulder and see who's coming to attack, right? So my focus is, can I see the ball? Can I be on an angle to see the ball? And I can be ready to attack forward. I can be ready to adjust backwards, all right? So my positioning here, I'm a little bit more opened up. Now, focusing on a ball coming from the left side, focus is, can I drive my right knee up? All right, we drive our right knee up, two reasons. One, because I want to get momentum as I jump, right? Just jumping off 2 feet oftentimes doesn't drive us up as high, right? The focus is, can I use my footwork, drive my right knee up? That right knee also protects us from attackers, protects us from defenders and attackers who may be coming in to attack the ball, okay? So focused on my angles here. I can see the ball. I can see the attackers. I can see the defenders. I can see who's coming in. All right, we're here. Ball's tossed, and we're up, knee up, and we catch. All right, let's go again. We're back in. I can see the ball. I can see the angle here. Ball's up, in, and can we catch at the highest point? Right, my knee helps to drive up. Now, we see that same ball again. Yep, ball's tossed. If I square up too early, now I have to jump off 2 feet. My height isn't as high. All right, I'm opened up here. Ball's tossed. Now I've got to turn, adjust my feet, and go. It's a little bit more work there. So we want to focus on, can I be in a position to where my first step, ball's tossed, my first step goes towards where I need to jump, and I catch at the highest point. So obviously, if we're on the other side of the field, we're taking it from the right side. We're simply taking it the other way. Now my footwork is, my left knee goes up, okay? From here, let's talk a little bit about positioning, all right? Right now we're just seeing toss balls. Simply toss balls so we can work on the technique of driving our knee up, catching at the highest point. We don't see toss balls in the game, all right? So let's talk about some of the different positions that we see in a game. So let's go back, let's put the ball on the ground. All right, so from this first position, we're looking at a striker, a winger, whoever it may be, driven down to the inline. They have the ball about 6 yards away from us. Does it make sense for us to stand back here in a crossing position? No. The immediate danger's in front. Now, my goal line essentially becomes from the post to about 2 to 3 yards to my right side, right? This is the area that I want to protect because in this situation, the most likely situation for this is a cutback ball. Right? Whether it's cut back to the 18, cut back to the top of the 6, or blasted right across us, this is the angle that we need to protect. So first, we need to protect the goal. There's a lot of conversation. We've seen it a number of times recently from professional goalkeepers even, where they have their hand on the post here. This is tough because in a tight situation where you don't have a ton of reaction time, having one hand ready and the other hand stuck to a post, while it may protect the goal a bit, right, it doesn't have you ready for the most likely scenario, which is the ball being cut back, right? Having your hands in a position, right, being in a set position and ready for this ball to be struck on target and I can react, or for a ball to be cut back and I can get down and cut it out. Last scenario, ball's cut back and I'm able to move into the goal and adjust. Now from this position, and we'll talk about it as we move back, but from this position, the ball being chipped over you is very difficult, right? From 6 yards away to get that ball lifted up and over you is a tough ball to play for any striker, any field player, world class or not. To get that ball up and over is very difficult, which is why in this position, we don't have to worry about that ball as much. If a ball's tried to be lifted over us, we can get here and either catch it, knock it down, do whatever it needs to be to avoid the ball getting past us, right? So this is a better position. As a striker is roughly 6 yards out, how do we protect the goal? How do we protect the likely scenarios of a cutback ball? All right, now as we move back, how does my position change? We're no longer 6 yards out. Now the strikers, say, 12, 13 yards out. How does my position change? All right, so let's talk about staying here. The options here. A ball being cut back, again, a ball being blasted across that 6. Still a possible scenario, right? So we still have to protect for that cutback. A shot from this angle, from 13 yards out on the inline. Very difficult ball to deal with, but still an option, right? So we still have to be able to protect our goal. Maybe it's moving out just a little bit because we have more reaction time, but we still have to worry about the near post here. All right, so we've got the near post shot, we've got the cutback ball, we've got the cutback to the PK spot or the 18 where we open up and we adjust. Now, this, as the striker moves back, the scenario of the ball over top becomes an issue, right? So how do we adjust our positioning a bit so that when that ball's chipped over, I can either adjust and go get it, or I can adjust and work across to get to the back post. All right, so instead of being so tight here, can I adjust my positioning a little bit off the post to where I can still defend a strike here? I can still step in and cut this ball off. I can still open up to the cutback to the PK or the 18, but I can also open up a little bit quicker to go to the far post. Now, what happens when we move back even further? Right, so we've adjusted our positioning here. Now we're outside the 18. Now there's a lot more options that open up, okay? So how do we adjust our positioning to defend every single option? We're still worried about the near post, right? We've seen it a number of times where goalkeepers are a little too concerned about this cross, this cutback ball here, and we leave this near post wide open, whether it's meant to be or not, right? A ball on target there becomes really tough, all right? So how do we adjust our positioning to where we're not super tight to the near post, because a ball over top is very easy from here, right? The likely scenario, ball on the outside of the 18, a ball chipped to the far post, ball can still be whipped in here, ball can still be cut back, but the scenarios become a lot easier now that they've moved back. So now we have to adjust our positioning to where we still defend our near post for the strike. We can still get to this 6-yard cutback. We still have the ability to open up and defend on the angle, moving with the ball. But now we have to worry more so about the ball being played far post. How do we put ourselves in a position to where we can adjust our feet and get to that far post a little bit more now that there's 18, 19 yards for the striker to play that ball? Okay? Now we're going to move back even further to what most people consider a crossing, more likely crossing scenario, right? Dealing with crosses from wide. These are the tough positions, right? So let's first talk about positioning, all right? Our server, Pablo, roughly 25, 28 yards out, okay? So positioning here depends a lot on your back line, depends a lot on your comfortability going out to claim crosses. But in this scenario, 28 yards out, right? A shot is a lot less likely from here, right? So now we can be a little bit more aggressive off our line. Why can we be a little bit more aggressive off our line? Pablo, are you right-footed or left-footed? Pablo's right-footed, right? So from my left side, a right-footer most likely is hitting an outswinger, ball going out towards the field as opposed to a ball going in towards the goal. Right now, if I'm dealing with a left-footer, now I can be a little bit more safe because a left-footer can swing a ball in towards the goal. All right, but I'm dealing with the right footer. So I can step out maybe a yard or two. A little bit more aggressive here. All right, but we also have to analyze who's in the box, right? If all of our pressure is in the box down here, does it make sense for us to stand out here? No. This kills our momentum. The ball's floated in. I'm going to be dealing with traffic to try and get around to get up towards the ball, right? So analyzing where the traffic's coming from, how deep Pablo is. If Pablo's a little bit closer to the end line, there's pretty much no angle for a shot. So we know a cross is coming in, so I can be a little bit more aggressive here. If Pablo's a little bit higher, now I have to drop a little bit because there is still the opportunity for a strike from 28, 29 yards out on the angle. Is it likely? No. But can it happen? Yes. All right, so we have to cover every scenario. All right, the cutback ball in front becomes a lot less likely because that's a tough ball to deal with. And we have defenders who may be there to cut that ball out as well. We have to be able to analyze the situation, have efficient footwork, and step towards where we want to go. Right? So if that ball's floated in front, we want to be able to adjust and attack in front. If that ball's floated in far post, can we adjust our feet, go back, and drive up with the right foot? The biggest problem, two big problems that we see from a lot of goalkeepers. First thing, as Pablo is about to hit, that step automatically goes forward. All right, and that step going forward oftentimes squares us up, which is problem number 2. All right, so automatically stepping forward when we haven't seen the flight of the ball, we're not reading the flight of the ball, we're just anticipating and hoping, and then when that ball goes far post, now we have to readjust and we end up with poor footwork. Problem number 2 is when we square up automatically, right? This works really well if the ball's in front. If Pablo plays a ball in front and I can go attack, that's perfect. But once I square up and that ball ends up going far post, a lot of times we end up just backpedaling and catching backwards, or I'm here and now I have to adjust back and readjust my feet to where I was before. If I'm open here and I automatically close up, I have to open up again and then go. We don't have a ton of time to do that as we're reacting to a cross, right? Can I stay open? Can I stay a little bit more relaxed? And as the ball plays in, either I step forward and go attack, or I adjust back, build momentum, and I go catch at the highest point. All right, so we've talked about the scenarios. We've talked about the positioning and the angle. We've talked about the technique. We've talked about not squaring up. All right, so now it's time to see a few live balls. So Pablo's going to float a few in, and we're going to focus on, can we be on a good angle? Can we be in a good position? Right? How do we adjust our positioning for where Pablo is? Pablo's going to move up and down the line a little bit, so we adjust our positioning. All right, and we're going to see balls floated in. Where's my first step go? Am I catching at the highest point? Is my footwork efficient so I can catch at the highest point? These are all things we have to focus on. So let's see a few balls in. So those are the difficult ones, the ones coming right at you. How do we build momentum for a ball that's literally driven right on top of us? Right, so we're set here, ball's coming right at us. We square up immediately. Can we drive towards it and go catch it at the highest point instead of waiting right here and having the striker come in and beat us to it? Let's see some more. So that one there, ball's at a little bit higher point. Noticing how I adjust my feet, build a little momentum, and drive up so I can still protect myself, gain the momentum, and catch at the highest point. So Pablo's moved the ball down a little bit lower. So how does that affect my positioning? He's more towards the end line now. Can I take a little bit more space here? Because I know that the shot is a lot less likely, right? I have to be able, in a situation where the ball is 28 yards out, ideally we would like goalkeepers to be able to cover the top of the 6 at minimum, right? Depending on how hard the ball's whipped in, depending on where your back line is, can we be a little bit more aggressive to control our 6-yard box and our 18. Here we go. And so the problem there being, right? I've seen the flight of the ball. It looks like it's coming right at me. I've gone here, I've squared up, and now I can't adjust backwards. All right, so when we're in those positions, ball's coming, and it looks like it's going a little bit higher. Can we adjust our feet and go take the ball? Great service, Pablo. Oh. See, now slight difference there, right? A very similar ball, but a slight difference in my footwork to where the first one, I stayed here, and I tried to jump off 2 feet here. Whereas the second one, I adjusted my feet, gained momentum, and got my knee up. Let's see a couple more. Good service. Now, Pablo's going a bit higher. He's about 10, 12 yards off the end line. What does my positioning look like? Can I move with the ball a little bit? Strike's still possible. I still have to be able to get to that near post. But from here, I feel really comfortable being able to, if a strike comes, being able to get here, make a save, while also not being too tight to my hurdle here, my mannequin. So when that ball's played in, I don't have to adjust around automatically to get to the ball. All right, let's see we adjust back and we go take the ball. All right, so being aware of where this hurdle is, where this mannequin is, where the defender, the attacker is, that's why we're open. That's why we're open. If we're here, I may end up going here on that ball going far post because I haven't checked. I'm square onto the ball and I haven't really noticed what's behind me. Being here helps me use my peripheral vision to see the ball, understand that there's a mannequin right here and there may be attackers coming in here. So when that ball's played, I know automatically I have to step this way or I have to step this way, as opposed to not seeing it and stepping towards the mannequin. Let's see one more. And good. So those are the basics of crossing, right? Understanding your positioning, understanding where I go, whether it's 6 yards out or whether it's 28 yards out. How do I adjust my positioning? Is that ball lower where I can step up? Or is that ball a little bit higher where I have to be a little bit more aware of the near post, right? Positioning is all about where you feel comfortable, how aggressive you want to be, but also the positioning of your back line. If my back line's on the 18 and that ball's a little bit lower, maybe I have to be a little bit more aggressive to cover that gap in between my back line and myself, right? So it's all about reading the game, reading the positioning of the players, reading the positioning of the striker on the ball, and being comfortable being aggressive off your line. All right, that about covers everything for crossing. Appreciate you all watching. Stay tuned for more coming soon.
And that's it. So what'd you think? How do you typically work on crossing technique in your training? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And once you do that, be sure to subscribe to our channel to stay up to date on the latest goalkeeper technique videos that we're going to be dropping very soon. Also, check us out on social media at PrimeFocusGK. You can also head over to our website for all the great goalkeeper glove needs that you may have, www.primefocusgoalkeeping.com. Until next time, stay focused.